श्रुतिस्मृत्याम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवांसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ प्रज्ञानां शुप्रताने स्थिरचरनिकरव्याप्तिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्ठान् पुनरभिधिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् सुविधिमधुरभुङ्मायया भोजयन्नः मायासंज्ञास्तुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि यो विश्वात्मा विदितविषयान् प्राश्यभोगान् स्तविष्टान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् सुमिरिविभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरभिशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणः पात्वसौ नस्तुरीयः We are in the Advaita Prakaranam of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. There are 4 sections of Māṇḍūkya kārikā, and we are in the 3rd section, Advaita Prakaranam, and we are in the 5th verse of the Advaita Prakaranam. These are all technical names according to what is being discussed in that chapter. Mostly, logically, one can understand after assimilating this section. The first section dealt with the mantras which are presented in the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, Agama Prakarana. Agama means based on scriptures, discussions, analysis, studies based on scriptures, because scriptures don't make you or compel you to digest the entire verses without thinking. Scriptures want you to understand what is told in the verses. That is why, which is very important from all other scriptures in other religions. Where the other religion, you can't question any verse. Here, you need to understand properly, then only you have to assimilate and you have to work on that, and you can own it. So that is why it is called Agama Prakaranam. Then the second section we already finished is called Vaithatya Prakaranam. Vithatha, something which is misunderstood and conducting according to the misconception on that thing. Just as a rope is being misunderstood as a snake, and a person is now doing the activities to remove the snake. In real, we know that there is no snake at all. There is only a rope. But the point is, the person didn't realize that there is a rope. He took in otherwise. He got an misidea regarding a thing. Similarly, the world, the creation, the individual, everything is been misunderstood right from the beginning of the birth. A human nature is like that. We call it instinct. By our instinct, we thought that, or we ourselves took ourselves that we are a human being. We are here after the birth to do certain things and responsibilities. We need to do our kartavya. We have our own things to be done. We cannot miss that. As a human body, I have to do different things. As a male body, as a female body, I need babies. Without babies in this world, it is null, it is empty. So, all these wrong ideas get entered in the mind due to vitata, taking other than what it is. For the correction of this misunderstanding, this prakaranam started by the Gaudapada Acharya, Vithatha Vaitatyam, having the state of wrong understanding, there need to be corrected. As a human being, those ideas are misguiding, straying from the pursuit. One need to correct oneself that I am not a human being. In fact, I am birthless, pure, eternal consciousness, which is the embodiment of happiness. This understanding can make the person, while living itself, he will feel complete. In spite of all the limitations, in spite of all the difficulties, in spite of all the diseases which are pertaining to a human body, a person feels satisfied. A person feels complete. A person can be serene in any situation. This is called Vaitatya Prakarana, making an individual understanding that he has wrong ideas and erroneous notions which are guiding right from the birth. One need to correct by the proper knowledge. The knowledge itself will bring all kinds of corrections. Then the third prakarana is called Advaita Prakarana. Advaita Prakarana means knowing the non-duality. The point is, we are very familiar to deal with the dualistic world. We have a deep-rooted idea that world is complete in the form of duality. I myself separate from my father and mother. I myself separate from my sisters, son, daughters, and my wife. I myself separate from the house and the dog. I myself separate from the trees and stars. We have our own individual bodies. So the point is, I am familiar to deal with the dualistic knowledge. Duality need not to be taught, it is instinct. It is very common with everybody. When I am a child, I will run towards the rattle when the parents do a rattle in front of me. Jil, 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 jil. Something which is making noise, I want to take that. When I saw somebody calling me as a baby, I just run away. So duality need not to be taught by anybody or any scriptures. If other religions are teaching the duality, that God is there in some place called heaven, we need to reach the God. In order to reach the God, we need to convert all other non-believing people. So these ideas make them more deep-rooted duality in oneself. That is why we are very different from all other religion. In fact, non-duality is not a religion. It is out of religion. It is not at all a religion. I insist you not to take oneself as a religious person. You are a person who believes the world, God, and individual are one and the same entity. This idea should be there in and through wherever you go till the last birth. Your breath should always have this idea. Myself and the world and the people and all this entire creation seems to be different from my body. But in fact, the entity which is in and through is one and the same, and this is called non dual. One need to understand this non duality logically, then only one can assimilate. Assimilation can only happen by understanding without total clarity. For the sake of making understand through logic, because mind is very happy when they get a logic in understanding. For that, we start this idea of making one understanding through logics, what is called non-duality. And here, the fifth verse is talking about an illustration which is very famous. I will read that verse and I'll give you the meaning, and we will go through few sentences of Bhashya. यथा एकस्मिन् घटाकाशे रजो धूमादिभिर्युते न सर्वे सम्प्रयुज्यन्ते तद्वज्जीवा सुखादिभिः यथा एकस्मिन् घटाकाशे रजो धूमादिभिर्युते न सर्वे सम्प्रयुज्यन्ते तद्वज्जीवा सुखादिभिः Yatha, just as in one pot space, Gadakashe Ekasmin, in one of the pot space, Rejo Dhumadibir Yute, connected with impurities like smoke and sand, speck of sand, etc. inside. If you keep a pot without using for few months, there will be some sand and a spider web, etc. So you can take entire thing as impurities. In one pot space, there are some impurities connected with that space. Na sarve samprayujyante. That doesn't mean that entire space is connected with that impurities. In that particular spot space, there are some spider web, some sand is there, some smoke is there, means dust particles are there, and it is connected with that pot space. Na sarve samprayujyante. It doesn't mean that all other pot space also got connected with these impurities which are inside this one single pot space. There are 1,000 pots. In one pot, there are some spider web, some sand particles, some smoke, some dust, etc., etc. We can collectively we can say them impurities. There are some impurities in one pot space. It doesn't mean that these impurities are all connected with other pot space. Na sarve samprayujyante. They don't get connected with all other pot space. Tadvat, like this one need to take in the case of jivaha, with the individuals when they have happiness and suffering, etc., etc. This is the meaning of the verse, a deep understanding we need. Once more, I will explain, then I will go to the real meaning, what is given through an illustration. Just as in one pot space, there are some impurities which are only connected with that single spot space. There are other pots along with that pot. That impurities which are connected to one single pot space are not connected with any other pot space. Similarly, so too, one need to understand with the happiness and suffering of one single individual is not connected with the all other individuals. Now I will give the meaning of what is really the illustration means. We are familiar with our family members depart from this world. Our grandfathers, our fathers, or one of my friend, one of my relative, one of my neighbor. We used to go to be part of with their worries and sorrow. We go and sit with them and we make them console. We make them to come out of that suffering, making them balance from that situation. These are all very familiar for all of us, correct? When a person depart from the world, that suffering will only go through the family members and the neighbors and that whole street only. That sorrow will not go to the entire world. When a person is suffering from diseases, for example, sinus, cough, throat infection, etc., etc., that individual only suffers from all these diseases. No other individual is going to suffer all these diseases. We are all very familiar with this fact. Still, through logic, one need to understand. Because we studied the entity, what is called Brahman or the soul or Atman, is all pervading. When something is all pervading, if there is an impurity come into one's place, it will spread everywhere. There is an idea already pre-existing in one's mind. So Gaudapada negates it by illustrating this example. Suppose one have certain happiness or one have certain worries. That worries and happiness can only pertaining to that individual only. It will not be spreading to the all-pervading entity. Sukha and dukkha are means happiness and suffering are the results of one's own deeds. Every individual is different in their mentality, in their state of mind, in their clarity towards the world and people, in their attitude towards the world, animals, etc., etc. All these factors are counted in their activity. So suppose a person don't have an attitude like you, he will not or she will not behave you what you are behaving right now. For example, you perform non-hurting so that you don't want to hurt any other animals or birds or species or any human being. Because you have studied under a traditional teacher. Now you have a friend who is living in another country. She or he never knows about all these values of non-hurting, mercy, etc., etc. Their morning breakfast itself is a hamburger or a piece of steak. Your attitude is very much different because you performing non-hurting, you don't choose to have a meat in your plate in the morning. But it's not like that for your friend. They don't have any value on non-hurting or mercy, etc., etc. So the attitude being different, the activities and the actions also will be very different. One need to understand that, the more you are clear about the world and people with the reality, when you come to know the reality, your attitude will be changing every day. So the point is, more and more you are clear about the world, people, creation by studying the scriptures, your attitude and your activities are very much different from the others. So too, they are also very much different in their activities. What I want to say, according to one's own understanding about the world, according to one's own goal in the world, their activities are very different. A smuggler is not going to obey all the rules of a scripture. A criminal is not interested in scriptures. Their goal and their agenda is very much hidden and they will do whenever they get a chance. How can we connect our activities will help them or their activities will make me vulnerable? Both are incorrect. This is what he conveys here. When you do a noble action, it will not help the entire society or entire humanity. Why? Your noble action will only attract a noble result for you. When a criminal do a crime, that crime will not make others suffer. Only the criminal will suffer. So the pot space should be equated according to individual activities. The impurities should be equated to the wrong dealings of an individual. When an individual do wrong actions in one's life, those actions will attract the result towards only that particular individual, not for everybody. This is what here it is told. Even though in and through the entire names and forms are being superimposed in one single entity, it doesn't mean that if an individual do a wrong thing, it make all others suffer. Or if an individual do a noble activity, it doesn't mean that all individual will get the best result even though you do crime. This is what he point out here through this verse. Impurities are pertaining to one's own body and it will be under the realm of duality. Remember that this is ever pure entity and which is formless and which is devoid of parts. Whatever impurities pertaining to the human body or the world or creation, a partless entity can't get connected with all these impurities in one's understanding. It should be like that. A partless entity, in order to get a connection, there should have some part. I have two hands, so I get connected with the two hands. These two parts get connected. Now, I don't have any parts. How I am going to get connected with another thing? Space is partless. There is no connection with any impurities for the space. All the impurities are pertaining to the human body, which are names and forms. The entire world is filled with names and forms. The impurities will be pertaining to these names and forms, which is called mithya, maya, or duality. So here it is told like that impurities or purities are not will not get connected with any other individual spaces, even though it is all pervading. One pot having impurities in one pot space. Similarly, one individual having different activities and different results will not get connected with any other pot spaces, will not get connected with any other individuals. This is what the Gaudapada Acharya want to convey. A detailed bhashya is given. Lot of technicalities are there. So I will not enter into the all kind of technicalities. I will just introduce who are coming to raise the question against this verse. Like Vedanta, non-duality, there are some other schools of philosophies existing in the world, which are partial visions, one who doesn't have the total idea about the reality. They raise certain questions regarding the pot space impurities and how it didn't get connected with other pot spaces, etc. First of all, I give you one school of philosophy's question and its answer. There is a school of philosophy called Sankhya. From Sankhya only it came Sankhya. Two, Prakriti and Purusha. I will not go in detail, just I will give a brief explanation. According to their philosophy, very much different from the reality. We know that non-dual Brahman is one. There is only one single consciousness which is pervading in and through entire creation. But from their view of point, individual souls are many and they are permanent. So confusion arises, if you study more deeply when you go to other philosophies. They say that lot of souls are there and they are real. And these souls are being connected by the Prakriti, which is another phenomenon, what we call Maya. And it is a science which is dealing with the duality. So, two entities called Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha means individual souls. Prakriti means one and single entity, which is called Maya. Maya get into connected with an individual soul and get into bondage. And the Purusha realizes I am in bondage and he will get liberated from the bondage. This is called Sankhya philosophy. I will read for your understanding. According to the Sankhya philosophy, the contact of Prakriti with the Purusha causes the latter to fall into bondage. Prakriti will make the Purusha to fall into bondage. But as soon as Purusha realizes his independence, but the Purusha knows I am ever free. The Purusha means individual soul. He is liberated. He will become free. Therefore, according to the Sankhyas, according to this philosophy, Prakriti is the cause of bondage and liberation. The Maya, the Mithya is the cause of bondage and liberation. And the Purusha in itself is of very nature of knowledge. It is in the form of consciousness. All the activities of Prakriti, which are otherwise meaningless, what are the activities we do in the creation or in the form of an individual person will become meaningless, are directed to make the Purusha realizes the real nature. This is one philosophy. And here there are some similarities and dissimilarities. One similarity is it is in the form of consciousness. Sankhya, except individual soul, is the form of consciousness. But the point is, Sankhya accept different souls, duality. They are very much different. So that Sankhya's point of view is very much different from the point of view of Vedanta. They also raise questions against this. For example, one sentence in Bhashya, Veda abhave pradhanasya पारार्थ्यम अनुपपत्तिः चेत् न प्रधानकृतस्य अर्थस्य आत्मनि असंभवात्. Here, and I will also, यदि हि प्रधानकृतः बन्धः मोक्षः वा अर्थः पुरुषेषु भेदेन संभव इति ततः प्रधानस्य पारार्थ्यम् आत्मगत्वे न उपपद्यते इति युक्ता पुरुषभेदकल्पना. Here, Veda abhave, where there is no different souls from our point of view. Veda abhave, pradhanasya pararthyatvat. There is no worth of having a pradhana who is getting connected with the souls, because there is only one and the same consciousness pervading in and through. What is the point of talking about pradhana? Pradhanam is not at all coming to picture. Pradhana kridasya arthasya atmani asambhavat. There is no activities possible in the Paramatman which is all pervasive. Yadihi pradhana kritaha bandhaha mokshaha va arthaha. If at all, when we accept what is been connected with the individual soul by the pradhana, pradhana get connected with the individual soul as a male and female get connected together to make a family and getting all fulfilled, all their desire like that. Similarly, yadi hi, suppose pradhana kritaha bandhaha mokshaha va arthaha, it is meaningful that the connection or the bondage done by the pradhana, remember, there is no need of understanding all these things. This is a discussion under in the Shankara's commentary. For that purpose only I am reading. If you understand also, no problem. You already understood what is the meaning of the verse, which is our main purpose. All other things are subsidiary. Whether you understand or not, not a problem. But I want to introduce. There are different schools of thoughts or philosophies were also streaming at the same time of Vedanta going on. So they have different and they have different connection. Purusheshu Vedena Sambhavati Tataha Pradhanasya. I will read that. Yadihi Pradhanakrataha Bandhaha Mokshaha Varta Purusheshu Vedena Sambhava Idi Pradhanasya Parartyam Ek Atma Egatve na Upapadyate Idi Yukta Purusha Veda Kalpana. So, if the bondage and the moksha is meaningful for the different souls and it is possible to get liberation, then pradhanasya of the activities of the pradhana for the sake of purusha, atma ekatve na upapadyate. It is not possible when there is one single entity, so that from their standpoint of philosophy, idi yukta purusha veda kalpana. they can accept different souls and one single pradhana binding all these different souls. One school of thoughts which were there in the time period and people accepted and there were followers. These are all non-acceptable philosophies and they make you astray, you know, dualistic philosophies. This is called Sankhya philosophy or Sankhya Madam. What Shankara says here, if there is one and only consciousness remaining, there is no purpose for the pradhana. If there are different souls, there is purpose for pradhana. So your philosophy is only tenable for your own thoughts. You don't bring all the questions from your philosophies to our Advaita philosophy, which is non-dual. Okay. And another sentence of in the Bhashya, I would like to. Nacha anyat purusha veda kalpanayam pramanamasti sankhyana. There is no solid evidence for the acceptance of different souls in the world. Very important sentence given by the Shankara. When the Sankhya, this philosophical people, accept that different souls are there according to different bodies, there is no proper evidence in scriptures that there are individual souls in the world. In fact, the last portion of Vedanta talks about one single entity pervading in and through every individuals. So it's a very important sentence that Nacha Anyat Purusha Veda Kalpanayam Pramanam Asti Sankhyanam. Parasatta Matram Eva Chet Cha Etat Nimitti Kritya Swayam Badyate Muchyate Cha Pradhanam. So your own philosophical statements make you that pradhana get pradhanam get into connected with the purusha and purusha get into a bondage and pradhana make you realize the purusha to be free which is independent already. So it's all your own thoughts. Your thoughts can only with you. It will not get connected with the Vedanta. I'm not going to detail analysis in this. One more school of thought I want to just introduce. It is my duty just to introduce another philosophical people. They are called Tarkikaha or Vaisheshikaha. These people accept there are 6 things which are permanent in the world. What are they? Substance, quality, activity, generality, particularity, and inherence. These 6 things are permanent in the world. And all these categories exist independently of one another. They exist. So, and they get divided again and again. Dravya, the substance itself has 9 special attributes. It goes. So these are all partial vision people. They are called Vaisheshikas or Tarkikas. They also arises some questions regarding this verse, which are a lot of technicalities are there, which are detailed analysis, which I will not involve in that. And a group of people called Patanjali group, yoga people. They are also, they arise as a question because they accept there is an Ishvara apart from Jiva. So all these things make the individual very much confused when we accept all these things. So their questions and answers are given in the Bhashya, which will be very difficult for a beginner or for our group. I am not involving on that. Just understand the meaning of the verse. Once more I will say, and I will go to the next verse. Okay. What is this verse says that in one part space or in one individual's life, there are a lot of worries and troubles and tragedies. And there are other individuals also. We see in our daily life, very common that one's own troubles will not affect other family members or other society or anybody in the world. It only pertaining to one single human body. Na sarve samprayujyante. It will not get connected with anybody in the world. Similarly, even though the all-pervading Atman is there in and through in every individual, it doesn't mean that any kind of activities done by a single individual will not be annoying or will not get connected with any other individual, even though one and single entity is pervading in and through. So this is the meaning of the verse, and we will get into the next verse. रूपकार्य समाख्याः च विद्यन्ते तत्र तत्र वै आकाशस्य न भेदोऽस्ति तद्वज्जीवेषु निर्णयः रूपकार्य समाख्याश्च विद्यन्ते तत्र तत्र वै आकाशस्य न भेदोऽस्ति तद्वज्जीवेषु निर्णयः रूपम form, karya, activities, purpose, samakhyaha, name, form, and activities are the three factors which every individual differ from one another. Vidyande tatra tatra vai. Vidyande, get separated, tatra tatra, everywhere. It means that as an individual, one is differ from another because of their name, because of their form. Name and form are guided by one's own deeds, which are punya and papa. One's own deeds will make the person how to get a form, where to get a birth, in which time one should get birth, everything, They will decide. Our own deeds will decide our form, our time of birth, our lifestyle, our behavior, our own thoughts, our own attitudes. They will be different from one to another. Rupa Karya Samakhyaha cha, different from one to another. Karyam. Karyam means activities, purpose, or what are the things to be done. Samakhya. Vidyante. Tatra tatra vai. Everywhere. An elephant is different from an ant. An ant is different from a cow. A cow is different from a parrot. They are different in form. They are different in nature. They are different in their own names also. But in and through Akashasya na Vedaha asti, there is no difference in the content of every species or every individual. The one and only content is laying in and through Tadvat Jiveshu Nirnayaha. This should be the assimilation regarding all the individuals and all the creatures in the creation. So there will be different in the form, male, female, transgenders. There are people whose legs are not working, hands are not working. There are people who are blind. There are people who are having problem with their internal organs. According to one's own deeds, all these things are very much different from one to another. Vidyande tatra tatra vai. But agashasya na bedosti. The content which is in and through everywhere, through all these individual bodies, are one and the same. It should be assimilated. One should understand properly. This should be the truth. This is the reality. This will be the final confirmation regarding the truth. All the names and forms vary each other. All the names and forms are having different purpose in this world. They have different goals in the world, but in and through the same content which is formless, which is partless, which is the embodiment of happiness, which is birthless, that content is one and the same in everywhere. Whether it is ant, whether it is an elephant, whether it is anything in the world, that is the content is one and the same. Because it has an another goal, it goes behind that goal. Because this has an another goal, it goes in another world. They may be different in their activities. They may be different in their appearance. There may be different in their appearance. In spite of all this difference, we see the content of each and every names and forms. That is one and only consciousness. We will look into the Bhashya in the next class. Okay. The weather is going to be bit uncomfortable. We will see the Bhashya in the next class. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayandam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshoparahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamutachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om